I mean, she's my teammate, she's my business partner, she's my manager, she's my lawyer, she's my lover, she's my baby mama to be, she's my...
Did Meagan Good just make her pregnancy public? Everyone? Because it caused Devon Franklin to experience a severe emotional breakdown. Discuss the harm to your emotions. However, remember that this Meagan Good was the one who informed Devon that she had no desire to have children. She might be having a baby with Jonathan Majors and playing house all of a sudden. The man who is still coping with the consequences of those tumultuous DB accusations? According to your insiders, Devon Franklin is furious and extremely upset. Not simply astonished, it was hurtful to send late-night texts and question everything. Additionally, despite the fact that he's dating someone else, it's obvious that he might be feeling something about pregnancy that he wasn't prepared to reveal. Why, then, is Stefan pleading for another opportunity now? What do the circulating rumors indicate about the actual dissolution of their marriage? Everyone, let's get together, everyone, into it, because, to be honest, a huge problem is going to occur. Do you see what I did? Devon Franklin has been acting bizarrely on social media lately, and it's really revealing far more than he probably meant to. For an individual he's been out here saying that he's moved on, but he certainly doesn't act that way. For weeks now, he has been sharing cryptic messages, heartfelt sayings, and content that verges on a breakdown. It's only going to get worse now that Meagan Good's alleged pregnancy is making headlines, but fans are pointing it out as it is. A second for a millisecond? Let's face it. What specifically did Devon anticipate happening? Jonathan Major and Meagan have been seriously dating UGs. Additionally, they have already gotten married and have been together for a long time. They must have consummated their marriage and endured a great deal of public scrutiny, which is undoubtedly bringing them closer. And judging by their recent actions, it was just a question of time. Apparently, prior to that baby's arrival, both of them have been giving clues for months, despite the fact that they have kept the majority of their relationship private. Red carpet moments, interviews, and even subtly written Instagram captions. Everything was suggesting that they were serious about starting a family, and Devon's response says it all now that it might be occurring. His amazement wasn't the only one. All that was evident was his hurt. Meagan might be expecting more than that. It's because she gave someone else a child exactly what she wouldn't have given him. It's happening in public now with a different man. Alright everyone, the entire situation began a few days ago when Jonathan, a little video of him and Meagan Good working out together as a pair was released by Matrix. They will promote their new bread, you know. However, if you have been following them, you are already aware that they have been flaunting their workouts. This one, however, had everyone talking for a completely different reason, since in the video fans swiftly noticed something that wasn't there before, giving the impression that she was sporting a little baby bulge. Furthermore, it wasn't merely a coincidence. While encouraging her to work out, Jonathan mentioned her pregnancy. In passing, tossed it in there as if it didn't matter. However, the internet snapped at it right away, and it appeared to be a gentle introduction to a pregnancy, and that there is no more erratic time. Interview.
Her belly does look fit. Who knows if she's pregnant? I can't call it. Love you. All right, y'all, that's it. Goodbye. Peace.
I don't know about the rest of you, but there seemed to be a strange energy between him and her. However, the audience might have simply been taken by surprise, you know? However, this pregnancy certainly appeared to have been planned. Meagan wasn't. Precisely concealing her recent bout of baby fever. Actually, it's similar to when she made her decision. A switch was flicked during that divorce from Devon Franklin. When she was wed to Meagan, was always quite clear that having children was not part of the plan. Devon. She said it more than once. However, after her divorce, Meagan all of a sudden was stating that she was prepared to start a family, and it appears that she may not be wasting any time. Actually, the interview I'm going to present is one she conducted shortly after the breakup. You know, she explicitly stated that she was thinking about becoming a mother. She exuded confidence, excitement, and, to be honest, a slight sense of relief. Because of that, this moment with Jonathan Major is even more illuminating because it's not just chatter anymore. Meagan is searching, like though she's carrying out and doing on her own terms.
What do you want next? What is next for Meagan Good in life?
I want to travel. I want to direct more. I want to do more action. I want to create vehicles for little black girls to show themselves in completely different lights and help support that and uplift that. I don't know. I want to find my right house that I'm excited about, and maybe have a kid. you know? Yeah.
A few weeks ago, she gave Scott Evans another interview in which she reiterated her plans for the kid. Meagan didn't hold back during that sit-down at everything. She made it quite evident that she was well prepared to become a mother. What truly grabbed everyone's attention was the way she subtly suggested that she and Jonathan were already actively trying at that point. It wasn't a nebulous, maybe someday remark. This was a woman who was totally embracing her next phase after making up her decision and mapping it out.
I want to be a mom.
You do?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, is that something you've always known, or did you come to that?
I've come to that.
Was there something that happened? Was there like did you see a baby, you were holding a baby and you were like, uh-oh, the feeling that people talk about is happening?
I think it's more, because even my sister tell you, like when she got pregnant with my first nephew, she was like, I had to tell you something. I was like, okay, what? She's like, you can be her. We actually had this moment somewhere else, but just tell me you're pregnant. I'm gonna tell you my response.
Okay, so Meg, I gotta tell you something.
What?
So, we're pregnant, you're gonna be an auntie, I'm gonna have a baby.
Wow, you're pregnant.
Yes, I'm pregnant.
Why? Right now? Wow, Caesar, wait, wow.
Did you say why, or did you?
Be able to do anything. That was my response.
You did not say why.
I said right now.
Right. But we have so
Meanwhile,
many
she was
plans.
like 33. But I will say, I think even that put me back a little bit, because I was like, ooh, that's a lot, you know?
Yeah.
But I think even now, I'm just super ready, because I think there was a fear that life would turn into Groundhog's Day. And I think now, honestly, in huge part to Jonathan, because I knew I wanted to be a mom before Jonathan. I knew I was about ready before Jonathan.
Yep.
But I'm like ready right now because I have so much fun with him, and because I know that it's not gonna become Groundhog's Day. I know that me and him are gonna be backpacking over here, and we're gonna be over here producing this movie that I might be directing and he might be producing, or he might be starring, and our kids are gonna be with us in Africa, wherever it is. But I just know that even if we're not moving around a lot, that the way that we move, I really, really love. And the way that we do life, I really, really love.
And that your tribe will go with you.
Yes, and
You know what I
even
mean?
if we don't go anywhere, it's just the texture of what the quality of life looks like.
Yeah.
It is.
Fast forward to the present, and it appears like our tiny baby Major and a miniature Meagan will soon be running around. However, there is no denying the pregnant glow. Because of Jonathan's contentious past, admirers are divided. However, there is one individual who isn't feeling it at all. Franklin, that appears to be the bomb. Without mentioning her name, the Bond is letting everyone know how to dance. The saltiness of the man is invisible. Additionally, it goes beyond fans picking up because of word. There are rumors circulating that Devon still harbors feelings for Meagan. Not just the kind of love that comes from memories, but the kind that involves actively attempting to get her. Back boys were being given to men. My pride needs to be swallowed. Say I'm sorry. Quit blaming others. I'm to blame. R&B is attempting to win you back. You know. Indeed. He appears to be performing most of the work behind the scenes, despite the fact that she is married and currently expecting with another guy. Additionally, according to reports, he has been attempting to persuade her that their tale is far from over, that they could still resolve their differences, and that this baby does not necessarily signal the end of their chapter. However, it's obvious that Meagan has moved on. Therefore, the true query is, why Devon, hasn't he? According to insiders, Devon is going to take things a step further. Therefore, things are about to change. He has allegedly been attempting to persuade Meagan that Jonathan is not the type of man she should be raising a child with. And he's bringing 3 seats, so he's not just making fun of others. Sources claim that Devon has been displaying statistics on domestic violence cases, highlighting the high number of cases that start or worsen during pregnancy. According to reports, he is making use of Jonathan's recent history, the DV accusations that are currently being discussed as a reason for Meagan to reconsider her circumstances. However, rumors have it that he has been alerting her to the possibility that this pregnancy could be the beginning of something harmful. Additionally, he has been subtly attempting to distance himself from Jonathan before things worsen. It is debatable whether that is a result of lingering heartache or sincere care. Post it in the remarks. Devon's worries aren't exactly unexpected though. If we're being completely honest, let's not forget that Jonathan has a history of DV accusations that are documented. His ex-girlfriend Grace Chabari had accused him of being physical with her, and he was still embroiled in legal controversy when he and Meagan initially started dating. The moment couldn't have been worse either, and people started talking about the relationship right away. While some were hopeful that Meagan had found peace following her divorce, others expressed encouragement, stating that Jonathan had finally found his Kita. Many fans were questioning her choice and wondering why. After finally leaving a marriage that many believed held her back, she would plunge headfirst into upheaval. Jonathan disputed the accusations in public, but when the audio recordings were discovered again and became viral, the situation drastically changed. He was heard acknowledging on the video that he had indeed touched Grace and caused her bodily harm. Any space for uncertainty was swiftly erased when the internet erupted. That tape was a confirmation for many people that they required, and it totally changed the story. Interview.
I'm ashamed. I've never wrestled with a woman before. And it's just, I've never aggressed. I aggressed. Like,
you strangled me and pushed me against the car.
Yeah, all those things are under aggressed.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's never happened to me. So I'm
because I said something sarcastically, if in your eyes.
Clearly it's more than that.
Yeah.
Clearly that.
Something inside of you.
Shortly afterward, Steve and Meagan declared their engagement. Additionally, the internet quickly began to speculate. Many believed that Jonathan was exploiting Meagan as a publicity stunt, to tidy up his disorganized appearance. Furthermore, the optics weren't very good, particularly after it was revealed that Meagan was paying for most of it. Not the Marvel money, huh? Gone already? The Jasmine brand claims that Meagan is responsible for all expenses. She was forced to pay the $75,000 training fee, even though they truly wanted this dog. For example, that's absurd. Don't tell me she visited the dog whisperer, please. And it became wilder just when people believed it couldn't get much wilder. According to a source, additionally, Meagan is supposedly paying Jonathan's daughters child support. Yes, everyone. It turns out that most people were unaware that Jonathan had a full daughter. But hear me out. Covering your man's expenses is one thing. Can you pay my debts? You know? However, paying child support for a child who isn't even yours isn't simply love. A full-fledged sponsorship, that is, gets a homosexual. You know if you do. However, the same source, but it didn't end there. They even went so far as to say that Meagan might be spending all of her savings in order to keep Jonathan afloat. Rumor has it that she had been hiding so many additional costs that her finances were beginning to suffer. No one knows what Meagan sees in this guy, the sources stated. If things continue in this manner, she could not be capable of covering her mortgage. To make things worse, Meagan didn't enter this scenario with a blank slate. It is said that everyone in her immediate vicinity attempted to warn her. During an interview she conducted on Meagan, according to reports, she was advised by friends, relatives, and even colleagues in the profession that he was a warning sign. Avoid, however. Meagan decided to remain by his side as she battled for their rights in spite of all the warnings. Connection.
It's been really wonderful. And yeah.
Did any friends advise you, like, he's in the middle of legal troubles, why don't you wait a beat? Why don't you wait to see how everything kind of shakes out?
Yeah, every friend advised me.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, one thing I know is I can always look myself in the mirror when I trust my spirit, when I trust God, when I ask God, and when I, move to the beat of my own drum. I can always look and say, okay, I'm proud of that. No matter whatever happens, I have peace in my heart, I have harmony in my heart. And it's only when I do something based on someone else saying, well, I think you should do this. And I take everyone I love opinion and advice into account for sure. But, at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to live my life, and I'm the one who has to, get to heaven one day prayerfully and give God an account of what I did. And so I want to be responsible for the choices that I make. And I also want to live the life that I want to live.
15. Devon may be spot on when he says that Jonathan may be using Meagan to improve his reputation and get back on his feet, and that their relationship feels somewhat theatrical. On the other hand, supporters claim that Devon is incapable of playing the victim. Many people think that he wanted her to shrink into the ideal Christian wife because of his profession as a preacher. She was gradually pushed out the door by it. That tension didn't go away on its own. It intensified until Meagan came to the realization that she could no longer be authentic in such a marriage. You know how they constantly say that compromise is crucial and that love alone is insufficient. In the instance of Meagan and Devon, it seemed as though she was the one bending. Well, are you bending? She had to change the way she lived in order to conform to the expectations of a preacher's wife. It couldn't have been simple either. She sacrificed much to meet Devon where he was in his social, spiritual, and professional life. But despite all of that work, it never seemed to be enough. To make matters worse, several members of the Bond family's church group were always criticizing her. She was worn down by the criticism, the rumors, and the unceasing attention. She wasn't merely making concessions. Making that marriage work was causing her to lose parts of herself. Furthermore, when I mention bullying, I don't mean a few dirty glances or casual remarks. These people made it their goal to destroy Meagan. They cast doubt on her morals, brought up her history, and categorically said that she was not devout enough to stand behind their father. It wasn't merely rumors. It was unrelenting, focused, and intensely intimate. She claimed that she was on the verge of completely losing her faith because of the harsh judgment and unceasing criticism she was receiving from churchgoers. Marriage was no longer the only issue. Her tranquility, her sanity, and keeping on. Onto what little trust she still had.
When Devon and I got married, I no longer was receiving criticism from just people in the world. I was receiving criticism from people who were Christians. It was it was almost kind of like brutal attacks I was getting on my character, on my husband, on different things. And so I wasn't ready for that. And I think the first maybe 2.5 years I was married.
40, but it got worse. You know, when Meagan and Devon were still married, they went to a public speaking event where a woman in the audience really got up and attempted to publicly humiliate Meagan for her attire in front of the whole crowd, right there. Devon had to immediately step in and defend Meagan after she called her out, questioning her modesty and suggesting that she wasn't suitable to be a pastor's wife. But by then, the harm was already done. The time we spent in Bible just served to stoke the flames that Meagan had been battling behind the scenes.
It's okay. It's all right.
Go ahead.
It's all right. It's all right.
So I wasn't gonna come here. I wasn't. But the Lord brought me here to see you. You're beautiful.
Meagan truly experienced everything while she was married to Devon. And when she eventually left and began living her life on her own terms, supporters were cheering her on for precisely that reason. However, Devon was unable to move on even after the divorce was official. In interviews and in his cryptic posts about heartbreaking healing, he kept bringing it up. In the same way, he acknowledged that he was having difficulties following the divorce while Meagan was moving on with happiness during the notorious Red Table Talk show and interview with Jada Pinkett Smith.
On the other side of a marriage that did not work the way you thought, it changes everything. It's painful. You know, I just bought a piece of property, first piece of property. In the contract, Devon Franklin, an unmarried man. I might have well broken down because I never saw this moment. When we said I do, there was never a moment when we were thinking I don't. So to live in the I don't,
that's pain.
You don't know what it's like until.
Interview 1810-1837, Meagan was enjoying her best life, staying booked, busy, quiet, and concentrating on her next chapter, while he was out there spiraling in public. But of course people began making fun of her for taking on the most, particularly because Meagan wasn't mentioning him at all. She was letting her life speak for itself and living it to the fullest. However, the moment Meagan G and Jonathan Major met, all of that friendliness began to change. Many people were taken aback by his court drama, the accusations, and the scandal in general. All of a sudden, the same supporters who had been rooting for her following the divorce were now scowling, doubting her decisions and inquiring as to whether she was acting recklessly. However, now that she could be, things have only become messier. Now that you're expecting a baby with him, the Vaughn, who reportedly offered to step up and be the mediator, after months of discussing healing and letting go, is suddenly backed up in the mix. There to support Meagan and try their relationship again, but without a new wife. We're left with a crazy love triangle, though, that no one anticipated. Devon is in the background, devastated. Although Jonathan was embroiled in scandals, he continued to raise a family and was torn between her past and present as though it were a game of emotional chess. One man desires her return. She was already taken by the others. Additionally, there might be AA babies on the way. But here's the real question. Is Avon battling to win, or is he truly fighting for love? He might be a bit too late, because Meagan's next chapter is already underway. Another thing tells me that the tea is simply getting hotter in this story. Sweetie.